Hello everyone to my humble garage on this windy Northern California day. If you own a race car or a car you drive on track a lot, especially one of the European variety, then you've probably considered or already have done a stud conversion on your car. If you do this, you have to remember one thing, that these studs are a wear item and should be replaced every 2-3 years depending on how often you take your wheels and tires off and on. These bolts get stretched, they get heat cycled, the Loctite can come loose, etc. So you don't want to play games with these studs and replace these every once in a while. These studs on my car have been on the car for about almost 3 years now, so it's time we give it a go. For that I have ordered new studs and nuts from Motorsports Hardware. Not sponsored by them. Just the easiest way to get studs for BMWs and other cars. So here you also see basically all the tools you need, assortment of torque wrenches, and two open face 17mm wrenches for the BMW variety, because the old studs have no way of getting them out of the car easily. So what you'll have to do is screw on two nuts and then counter torque them, and then you're able to use the open face wrench to get these nuts out. So let's get going. Alright, the old studs are all off. As you can see, I actually like to use the closed ratcheting wrench and capture it in there, so I can screw these out more easily. When we put the new ones on, don't forget a little bit of blue Loctite, not the red kind, because these will have to come off in 2 to 3 years. These are 68mm bullet nose studs. They come in a variety of sizes and lengths. Pick whatever fits best for your car depending on what spacers you run, what wheels and tires you're running. and what look you like best. 75 millimeter seems to be the most common size, but they stick out a little too far for my liking, especially on a street-driven car. If it's a pure track car, then who the hell cares, of course. So these are torqued pretty lightly actually. Check with the manufacturer's specs and make sure you actually do use a torque wrench, because this is an important safety item you shouldn't skimp on. All done in the rear. We'll move to the front. Front's a little more difficult because in the rear the car has the e-brake on currently and is in gear, so the hub didn't turn. In the front we'll have to find a way to lock the hub in place. Alright, onto the front. And yes, my car is dirty. Because race car. If those brakes and calipers look rusty to you, that oxidation is mainly from the extreme heat cycles from track driving. These were actually put in mid last year, and the brake discs are only about 2 or 3 track days old. Well, maybe a few more. If the front studs look shorter to you than the rears, the old ones, that's because they are. Again, is still a street-driven car. The shorter front studs looked a little better. But now I'm replacing them with 68 millimeters all the way around. Also, I'll demonstrate in a second why I recommended you have 2 open-faced 17 millimeter wrenches at hand. Because so far you've seen me capture my closed-face wrench, the ratcheting one. If you don't have that, or if you don't have an impact wrench at your disposal, you can do it the manual way, like this. You hold the front nut with one of the wrenches, and then the rear nut with an open-faced wrench, and then you can counter torque them and get them nice and tight, so that then you can take the stud out by the inner nut. Now, as you see now, since you can't put the front in gear on a rear-wheel drive car, this is freely rotating. So to stop this, you can take a screwdriver on these vented discs and you can get it between the discs. So if you do this back here where the caliper is, like this, then you can lock the disc in place, and this will allow you to get the stud out. And there you go. Now we'll go back to do it the quick way. Well, I was going to go ahead and do it the easy way, but somehow my super ratcheting wrench is ratcheting no more. So I guess we're gonna finish this the hard way. That brings me to another quick tip. Don't buy cheap ass tools. Alright, all done in the front. Now don't feel obligated to put the wheels right back on. Give the Loctite a moment to settle. Give it a few hours if you can. And definitely don't do this the night before a track day or a race. Give the Loctite once you have the wheels back on, the car's back on the ground. Give it a good 24 hours or so before you do any hard heat cycling on that. And also, next time you change the tires, give these a little retorque. Make sure they're all still sitting and the Loctite has cured. Alright, that's it. See you on track.